Welcome in, everybody, to another lovely episode of The Right Stuff, a sometimes secretive Blood Bowl podcast brought to you by Empire Games and coming out of sometimes lovely, always drawing once again, Anderson, South Carolina. I'm Yannie, here with Nathan, and we've got a lot of games to cover this week.
We do. I felt like we should start by mentioning We Warriors right here at the beginning. If you happen to be listening to that, I do want to plug that tournament. It's a rules pack for sickos. Coming up on the 25th, it's a specialist tournament. It's not your traditional 11s tournament. It's focusing on stunty teams.
Mm-hmm.
So go check out the rules for that in our Discord. They're pinned in there. That's put on by Dave Beatty. He ran We Warriors last year. And there was a whole lot of carnage last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not able to participate in it last year. Hoping I can participate this year, Atlanta traffic willing, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's rule set for sickos is a good way to describe it. If you see a certain special rule that might have possibly been my fault, in an offhand suggestion at a playoff game in Greenville for the Greenville League. But I think it's going to be fun. Just, you might want some access to throw teammate.
For sure.
Is what I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it's also worth mentioning, still no update as of yet on the new edition.
Right.
Another Monday has come and gone, and the pre-orders for Games Workshop still do not include Blood Bowl 3rd season edition. So still on the lookout. The Secret League will be continuing for at least another month-ish at this rate. So some people are 4 games into the league. We originally said it was going to last for at least 6. It's probably looking like 8 at this point. Could be maybe even slightly more. We don't know yet. The Helmsmiths of Hashut army, which was teased over the summer, is finally being released. Not that necessarily anybody here cares about that. I care about it because the Bull Centaurs are finally coming out, and I was looking at maybe using the Bull Centaurs for my Chaos Dwarf team, because I think the price of those Bull Centaurs is the price of the Forge World Bull Centaurs. So it's at least and you get another Bull Centaur. You get 50% more Bull Centaurs for like the same price. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. There you go. You're halfway to making 3 Chaos Dwarf teams. Yeah. So we got that, obviously, and quick plug for the store, since this is a store podcast. If you're wanting to get that 2nd season edition or 3rd season edition, let us know so we can have that in mind for numbers.
Yeah, we're planning on ordering enough to cover. I mean, if you're listening to my voice, you're more than likely buying it through us regardless, but you could probably find some people to split it too. I don't think it's like that bad of a box to split, since there's going to be 2 teams in it. Mm-hmm. Either Tomb Kings or Bretonnians might call out to you. I don't know. It's going to be like when Vampires came out, and I thought everybody in the league was going to play Vampires that following season. It turns out there were like 2 people who wanted to play Vampires because it's just like an alienating team. I'm willing to bet the Bretonnian team is like the opposite of that, where the Bretonnian team is like, oh, like, this team is really good. Everybody wants to play it. It'll be like Necro all over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could definitely see. Obviously, we don't have any extra rules updates, but it could be a team that's like, if you like human-style teams, it's a little bit bashier. If you like nobility teams, maybe it's a little bit sleeker. Maybe rerolls aren't garishly priced.
Yeah.
And your players actually do things.
Well, and your guys are actually like durable. The thing about nobility is it's not the most durable team. It takes a beating it takes like an outsized beating on the team, but you do lose players at a fairly alarming rate.
Right.
So
yeah, that'll do it for a little pre-show announcements. Just in general, we have a couple announcements for the season. First one is we have a player that is going to be dropping, the Jolliest Riders. Clay's going to be taking some time away for the rest of the Secret League, but we'll be back for the next season.
Yep, so looking forward to that. So
yeah, we need a little Clay will return in Blood Bowl 3rd season edition. Yeah. Then also we had someone swap out their team. I took the 27 club and ended them prematurely in a very fitting fashion.
It made it through 2.7 games.
Yeah. And now he is playing the Pestilent Party Makers, the Demons of Nurgle team, which is kind of interesting. I was going to look up the fumble line on it, but it looks like since you are a favorite of Nurgle and your players do have Plague Ridden, you can get Rotters on the team. There's no way for you to actually hire them outside of killing somebody.
You just have to, you have to earn them.
Yeah.
You have to pay the iron price for them.
Yeah. Or make someone else pay for it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right. So we've got some games to catch up on here. First game up, we got the Bloody Masquerade and the Peeled Nuts. It was a little bit out of sequence, I think, from where it was. But that was a 3-0 smashing for the Hobgoblin team. Putting it on the Vampires.
Yeah, this Hobgoblin team likes to foul a lot, and Vampires don't really want to get fouled that much. Mm-hmm. Like, if you end up getting knocked down, then Vampires end up, they don't have the durability. You don't want to be in a place where you're relying on just your regen to keep you around. Mm-hmm. And I think Vampires are a team that the decision tree during a turn is expansive. I mean, it condenses as you take your turn, mm-hmm. but when you start a turn, there's actually a ton of decisions to make. And it's hard to sort through the noise of what you could do during a turn to get down to the key components of it. And this Vampires don't really like being outstrengthed either. So this Hobgoblin team got a big guy, got a couple of 4-strength people as well. The Vampire team really excels versus elves or other teams that are primarily strength 3 people, and also against teams that don't have a ton of skills. But things that can, with 1 assist, get 2 dice on Vampires, and then a whole team designed to foul with extensively, that stuff kind of adds up really fast. So
yeah, I think this is also just a instance of, you were saying, it was just the team construction for this Vampire squad is you're starting out, I think he has 11 or 12 players. You're starting with, you're almost a 50-50 split between Vampires and Trolls on the pitch, because you can't afford to necessarily sub a Vampire.
Yeah, this is kind of a preview for one of the games that I played later, or that I'll talk about later on. But right, you need enough thralls to get through the drive. And if you're good at taking the ball and scoring fast, then you don't need that many thralls. But if you are stymied, then you need more thralls, because eventually you'll get to the point where every time you activate a vampire, you're risking a turnover. Mm-hmm. And then those just stack up. So
yeah, so that's just definitely a thing. It's you got up in a position where you just don't have enough. There are no more thralls left to give.
Yeah.
All right, on our week 3 games. First one up is actually a recap for mine. It's I guess a Ratmageddon of sorts. All on red. That's the Clan Molder team. So it's the team with swarming rats.
Yeah.
And then of course the Rat Bashers. So going into the game, my Ness was missing a Rat Ogre. So he was getting 180 in inducements. And he ended up taking a mascot and a wizard. And a wizard is a very scary thing. I think with the typical sort of non-traditional ways to knock down a player, bombs are not good against the Pestilence team because you have so much disturbing presence. It can be really hard to make an accurate bomb.
Whereas a wizard that has Mighty Blow can end up taking 2 players off the pitch if you're slightly unlucky.
Yeah, and the big thing is that you have a shot to knock down the sensor bearers. Yeah. And that was kind of my main priority going into the game, was setting up in a way where the sensor bearers are never next to each other, because if both of them get hit, if they get knocked down, they're out of the drive. Yeah. Possibly out of the game. So I was being very intense with where I was putting them. So I had to kind of spread out, almost kind of like a bomb defense, but kind of had spread off. I had them like off the line so they couldn't get randomly pushed together somehow, and ended up kicking off the nest. And I was able to knock the ball out on defense, and keep him from scoring in the first half. Like, he was down near the goal line. I ended up getting to knock the ball out and then flip the field and run far away because the majority of the teams like movement 7, so you're able to kind of get away with things like that.
Yeah, he's got a role to activate his big guys, right?
Yeah, and I will definitely say the MVP of this game overall was just foul appearance. Because there were multiple times you're just making those rat ogres roll so many dice that like he would pass Unchanneled Fury and then fail a foul appearance to like blitz, and then it's like you're
could
stuck.
be vice versa, right? Like you just failed the Unchanneled Fury or the Animal Savagery. Yeah, no, that was my worry when I was playing against Necro with Korn in previous seasons. I didn't ever actually want my big guy to go blitz like a Wraith. You just rolling those dice is just miserable, right? There's you don't want more chances to roll ones during your turn, right?
Exactly. So I was able to keep it scoreless in the first half. In the second half, I set up with the sensor bearers like on the line and had an excellent opening ball and chain where I hit the same rat ogre 3 times in a row. Like I pushed it, and then I pushed it again, and I finally knocked it down and knocked it out of the game. And I was just like, he is hungry. He is hungry for this rat. But the way that Nessa set up his defense, he had his rat ogre his normal rat ogre that had Animal Savagery was on one wing with one Skaven there next to him in case he like freaked out and like had to lash out at somebody. So I decided that I was going to send my blitz on to that Skaven with my priest, and I had 2 different ways I could approach, and I ended up taking the one that would be better if I rolled a block, because they have dodge, so it's like I didn't want to end up having to push it into a spot where I was like more exposed to the rat ogre. So I ended up knocking it down on the first hit and then getting stuck in the rat ogre, and he just like activates his rat ogre, activates, makes foul appearance, and like puts the movement down on the priest, which kind of sucks, but it's still like I think a solid piece for the price. It's like a little slower, but
yeah,
make up for it.
It already has block, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think you can. Maybe, I mean, who knows, right? Like the league's lasting for at least another 4 games. Who knows? Maybe you could fire and redevelop it, but I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm able to score. I score on like turn 4 because I'm just able to kind of like run up the middle, and I was trying to set myself up where I always had somebody near the ball carriers, like 2 squares away, so that if whenever Ness decided to wizard, I'd be able to have someone run over, pick up the ball, and just run and score. So score on turn 4, I kick off to him, and the ball goes out of the backfield. And it was like it went 5 squares back on the initial kick, so it needed to roll like 3 times. It had to like bounce 3 times, and then I rolled weather, and then it just bounced out. And I'm like, okay. So he puts it on a rat ogre on the line, and the rat ogre like blitzes around a corner. I'm able to get the ball and chain in and knock the ball out eventually, which is like always a like. Ball and chains are just fun because you can kind of plan around things. Yeah, and it's like definitely a piece that needs a lot of. It's like a good sequence tester. Like you need to sequence your movements properly so that you can move your maximum allowance without killing one of your own people.
Right, and the ball and chain is also capable of doing things that other players just simply aren't. Mm-hmm. Right, which is why I think it's like such a powerful piece. I think it's like criminally underrepresented on goblin teams that are played in the store. Yeah, it's just a crazy piece.
Yep. So we've got that, and so ball and chain is up, knocks the ball out. The carrier goes and picks up the ball and like runs to the side, and then he had brought one of the rat ogres over to try to mark it, and then I amble over with the ball and chain to mark the rat ogre. And that's the point where he decides to use a wizard. He knocks down the ball and chain, knocks it out, but he doesn't hit the carrier, and I'm able to get away and run up the side, and then score on turn 16. So it's 2-0. Yeah, took some damage, but overall, still like a solid game.
Yeah. That's a win. Put in the W column.
Yep. Up next, we have the Drakenhof Grave Robbers and Ethical Vampires.
Yes. This is... I've got 3 recaps for this week, and each of them is a win, a draw, and a loss. You'll figure out which one is which as we go through the whole ordeal today. But this is Blake. He's new to the league. He was playing Shambling Undead, which is usually one of my go-tos for recommending a team for people to play, just because I think Undead teams can take a beating, and you have a lot of models who are good at various different things, and you can learn a lot about the game. We had a funny start to the game because I kicked the ball to him. Like, he wins the option. He just decides to receive the ball. I kicked the ball to him, and his very first block was a zombie on my zombie, and he rolled a skull both down. And he was like, it's too early in the game to waste a reroll. I'm just going to go ahead and take this. And he just casualties my zombie right off the bat. That zombie doesn't regenerate. And that kind of like sets the tone for the game right there. Blake's still new, still learning the game, still trying to like figure out like how to play. And I was doing stuff like making sure that there was always a zombie on a mummy, right? Keep the mummies tied up, let them fight zombies. And I was talking to him about it after the game, right? Like, there's just a mismatch on the field. Your 120k mummy is fighting my 40k piece. Mm-hmm. And it's got regen, so even if the mummy murders the zombie somewhere along the way, there's a chance that mummy still got to fight a zombie in the next half if you let me. I got Mighty Blow did a whole lot of work in this game, which is kind of foreshadowing for later in the podcast, where there were multiple casualties from Mighty Blow that were from I rolled a 9 on the injury roll, and Mighty Blow sent it to a 10, or I would roll like a 7 against an armor 8 piece, and then Mighty Blow would kick it up, and then I'd roll the casualty on the next part. So the vampires were eating good in this game. I took some damage towards the end there. We were slugging it out. I stopped him from scoring on the first drive, and I was like kind of moving the ball the other direction. But this Blood Dragon vampire team has a tendency to just kind of get bogged down in the trenches. It's just it gets real busy hitting people, and it kind of forgets about moving the ball. It wasn't until like my offensive drive that I actually got the ball like into his territory, and I score on like a turn 13. He actually had a pretty solid answer back. He had a ghoul about halfway down with like a little bit of an assist in the way, and so I had to make some rolls to tie up like a white that was down there. And then I blitz his ghoul with one of my pieces, and I have one reroll left, and I opt to, and I just get like a push or whatever, and so I would have like pressed the ghoul against the sideline. And I really didn't want him to just make like a handful of dodges and then just run away. So I opted to use my reroll there, got the splash, and I ended up like casualing that ghoul, taking it off the pitch. And that sealed the game there. Now I did have a really funny moment where the dirty player random thrall that I had failed to dodge away and got a strength down. And I actually think the strength down, it's like it sucks on that guy, but he's not on the team for his strength. He's on the team for dirty player, and he's on the team to be a thrall to be bitten by a vampire. So I think I'm going to rock the strength down thrall. And then he ended up at the turn 16 respect foul from Blake ended up making me lose a Graveguard for the next game, which was pretty funny. So I appreciate the respect shown to me by my opponent in that game. So. But yeah, it was a 1-0 win there over Blake. He had fun, even though I did quite a bit of damage to his team. But we talked about it, because we were just kind of like cracking jokes, and he likes the game because like you have kind of like stories develop during the game, right? So yeah, it was a good time by all. So
nice. All right, I got another recap for you. You've got crabs and Fear the Deer.
Yeah, so this one was a draw. And this honestly was a draw that felt like a win by the time I got the draw, because my dice rolls were so miserable at the beginning of this game. I started the game with double bonehead on the crabs. Like, I actually had the option to roll. So I was filling in for the crab team, the store's crab team. And so I was going to get line hits with the crabs versus some dwarves. And I set it up so that I could 3 dice 2 dwarves right at the beginning. And I bonehead the first one, I bonehead the second one. And so I don't get to throw those hits. I knock some dwarves around somewhere in there. And then on turn 2, I failed the first dodge that I make with a crester. The thing about this game is that these dirty player dwarves don't have tackle. However, it was like I was playing a dwarf team because I just failed every dodge roll with the reroll. I just failed it anyway. So it was like I was playing against tackle, and every time Juan hit a crester, he would just roll the splash. You know, he could roll the block, or he could roll the splash to knock down the guy, but he would just roll the splash anyway. And so, like, turn 2, he gets like 7 blocks or something like that into cresters, and he casualties the block dodge one to begin with. And so he gets to throw like a whole bunch of fouls also. And I think on the second turn when I went to activate the crabs, I think one of them boneheaded again or something like that. I had at least 2, it might have been 3 bonehead blitzes with the crabs that re-rolled into bonehead, because the crabs don't have loner. You can re-roll their dice. So I had like multiples of those that happened. Now I did manage to keep him from scoring despite losing control of the ball somewhere in there. And I did manage to get his chainsaw kicked out of the game somewhere in there. And then he started fouling. He was fouling a bunch in the second half to try to like ice the game because I was down players. But several of his players got caught, so he was like setting up on defense with fewer dwarves. And I managed to get like this. The best play of the game was like a pass play that I made the pass on like a 5 with a crester, and somebody caught it, and I managed to run it in and score and tie the game on the last turn. But like the stupid giant crabs, like one of them, it was the one that Wayne painted for the team. One of those crabs spent like most of the game in the KO box. Like it even came back, but then like almost got immediately KO'd on Juan's drive. So this game was really, really close. I got bailed out by the fact that this dwarf engineer team cannot score touchdowns. It can cause a lot of mayhem. But this dwarf team cannot score. It's not like a Skaven team or something like that would punish you for losing control of the ball. Right, like if the ball is in your backfield somewhere, it takes the dwarves like 2 turns to get to it, right? Because the whole team is so slow.
Right.
I managed to get a couple crabs and crabsualties in there, where the claws cut right through a dwarf and pinched him right off the field. So, but yeah, it was a game for sure. I rolled so badly in that game. I actually think I rolled worse in this game than the loss I'll cover in a bit. But man, it was so frustrating trying to make dodges with cresters against a team that did not have tackle.
Yeah. All right. With that, though, we also get to bestow the honorific title of Drawn Gray,
Yes,
as intimated to us by outside sources.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, we had the Touchdown Town Clowns and the Electric City Maulers. It's a 4-0 win for the Maulers. It's just kind of a
it's kind of a beating.
Yeah.
Yep. You're right. I don't know if you're listening to the podcast, Justin. This is one of those games where humans are kind of they're the agility team. You need to make sure that you're limiting the amount of blocks the opponent gets in this type of situation. If you can, you're trying to like isolate the Oni from the rest of the team, and then if you can somehow get the Oni on the ground, that is a wonderful foul target.
Yes.
Because even if it's stunned, that means it's the rest of this team is not particularly good at moving around the field. The samurai are pretty agile, but the Oni and the samurai can end up like isolated from the sumos and the turtlemen because they're just very, very slow. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I didn't get to watch this game, so I'm not exactly sure how it all played out. But talking to Justin outside of the podcast and just kind of talking about it, strategies and stuff like that, I know he's trying to look for improvement and stuff like that. So I think just on paper, that's a game where you don't want to just stand and bang with the opponent. Right. And when your opponent has expensive pieces, they're not likely to foul with them. So even if you guys get knocked down, sometimes you just leave your guys on the ground. Mm-hmm. And especially if it's like a human lineman, like so let's say the sumo is like there to try to tie it up. If you have like a human lineman on the ground and he's trying to make sure that you stay marked, like just don't stand the lineman up to get hit again. So,
yeah. Up next, we have the Serial Killers and the Peeled Nuts.
Yeah, a little bit of an upset here, I'd say. I mean, Jeremy, I think, has kind of found the stride with these flesh golems. I think it's just because that flesh golem team is very resilient.
Yeah, it's a cool team, and I think like once you get a little bit of development, you don't need a lot, but once you get that, just like if you get blocked on flesh golems, your team is very hard to put on the ground.
Yeah, and the whole
in general,
the whole team has regen, right? So if you are in a shoving match with your opponent, any casualties you do to the opponent might be permanent, and any casualties you take, you might be able to just kind of walk off. So,
yeah, I believe Chase is also present for this game.
Yeah, I think the interdimensional curse against Jurgen continued. So
yeah. Up next, we had Lupus Lapin and Desquig Go Chump. And we have a werewolf count in this game was 4. So that's pretty average. It's like about a third of the team.
Right. That's where that's like the math says you should end up about here.
It's like
right?
4.6 werewolves per game.
Yeah.
Something like that, with 14 players. So yeah, I mean that just seemed. I think the story with this team. If you go look at tour play and just look at the score, I think that the higher score you see, the more werewolves were found. And it seems like one where it just seems to be enough. Like, I think the thing is, like, obviously Frenzy's like good. They talk about like, like strength 2 players. If you just got like Frenzy, you're gonna get extra hits on them. You have a better chance of like knocking them down if they're just like kind of like stunty dodger people. So. Yeah. And I think if you take out some of those pieces, the Squig team is going to have a hard time scoring.
I think it's a cascade failure on the Squig team too.
Yeah.
Right. Like.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that like a lot of the Squigs themselves have like no hands.
Right.
Which, yeah, like if you just lose players that carry the ball, then you're going to be in a spot where
Yeah.
you can't. I actually had Blaviken Bloodhounds and Oh the Horrors. The bounce back game for Will.
Yeah. And I saw the game go up 2-0. Abe bungled picking up a ball in his own end zone, and Will just like picked up a blue heart, just threw it in that direction, and it landed, and it just ran over there, and big handed picked up the ball because he's got a big hand, so it doesn't matter how many people are around, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So and so I think it kind of like progressed from there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it seems like a point in this game, the corner team just went from caring about defending to just stepping a bunch.
on people. Yeah.
Which is fine. No judgment here. But yeah, now with the end of this game, now the Hell Lich, the Lord of Change for this team is pretty scary.
Yeah.
It's like block claws along with all the other skills it has. So it's gonna be very consistent and already had pro. So
Right.
we'll see how that player ends up kind of ripping through people at the end. Very glad I played it when I did. So next we had the 27 Club and Jolly Razors.
This is the type of game where you quit playing a team.
Yeah, this was a Blood Bowl unplugged for Ide here apparently. Final performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says it looked like he got outclawed.
Yeah.
He couldn't really do anything, just got an MVP. And I think after a couple games like that, especially in a side league
You're ready to move on.
environment, yeah, you're just ready to be done with the team. So, so now he's got some little nurgly bits. So, another game happened last night. We got Bofa and the Lower Innocent Conspiracy. It was a 3-0 win for the Rats, and this one was like interesting to look at tour play because it seemed like not much happened at all.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I can imagine that being the case in a Lizardmen versus like Gutter Runners matchup, right? Mm-hmm. Like if it's just skinks hitting, it's like let's say the Gutter Runners dodge away from the Sauruses, and then the skinks are the ones who have to like blitz. If you don't have block on a skink and you're blitzing a Gutter Runner who's got dodge, then like you're both fishing for a 6 to take somebody out, and so I mean I can see a game like that not really a whole lot happening in it. So
yeah. All right, that's gonna do it for our week 3 games. Week 4 we had one just finish up right before recording this. It was just as planned, and I apologize for nothing. 0-1 win for the Slanesh team.
Yes. Wayne notches a win with the Slanesh team finally at this point, because I think it was like a couple draws and a loss. And so it looks like both teams were struggling to accomplish things during the course of the game. Mm-hmm. When I checked in on it various times during the day, just doing a drive-by the game. At one point, it looked like Sean had the ball down by the goal line, but the Keeper of Secrets came in and busted the ball out, and somebody and there was like a cultist that was running the other way with the ball, and it looks like that cultist got tackled at midfield somewhere along the way to keep the score blank going into the half. And then in the second half, I think Wayne received the ball. And even though he got to take Glart ended up going down somewhere in one of the scrums, I'm sure. Wayne got a touchdown on turn 16. And that left Sean with the ability to go for a 1-turn, which is what he iced Wayne with in the playoffs last time. Mm-hmm. So I got to watch the throw teammate, and so the ball ended up in the hands of a familiar, and then the changeling was an ogre for the game, and so he passes the rolls he needs to throw, and the familiar scatters into 2 tackle zones, needs like a 6 to land, fails it, and just spluts right into the ground, and then that's the game. And it ends 1-0. So,
yeah. We got another Wayne game here right after that. You've got Crabs and Jolly Ragers. The Nautical Showdown.
Yeah, and I think this one, this was another one that I think was like not. Yeah, there was. The whole second half went scoreless.
Yeah.
And so that's one of those where it looks like there was a lot of damage done early in the game, and then both teams are like running on fumes or whatever in the second half.
Yeah.
And Wayne apparently failed a bunch of rolls with cresters during this game, dodges, and they would just fall over and trip and smash their head open.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if the Sons of Stromfell's team doesn't like, it's got some guys are okay at moving the ball, they're not like exceptional at it. And then the Nonakan team is another one of those where it's like, if all of your cresters are off the field, then what are you gonna do?
You can amble in with the best player in the game, the Ignimbrite.
Yeah,
truly the best model ever made. Yeah, I mean, a draw there is like, this team is, still holding strong.
Yeah.
Next we had Shield Wall and Ethical Vampires. So is your final recap of the week?
Yep, and it's time for the loss. The final score is 2-0, but that's because I didn't play as much of a lockdown D on that final touchdown as I could have. I moved somebody into scoring range on the off chance that I could get a touchdown. But that's like at the end of the game. The first half of this game was a debacle. Nate started the game with a blitz. So I'm receiving. Nate rolls blitz. He knocks down like a vampire on the line with like the trog. And so I crack back into him on like my hits, and I think I don't break armor on turn one. Maybe I KO somebody, something like that. And then we were like, I think early we traded a piece or two each. Like, I think he took out a zombie and I took out like a random line work or whatever. So on my turn 2, I throw 5 or 6 blocks. Because I think turn 1 I even threw a foul. Let me go look at the thing real fast. No, it was turn 9 before I got to throw a foul. I mean, my plan was to throw fouls against the Ironheart Skin team, because one dude throwing a foul versus Ironheart Skin is the same as like 6 dudes throwing a foul against it. And the team is armor 8. And so really, to get people off the pitch, you just need armor checks against the team.
Right.
So the Ironheart Skin and Thick Skull basically meant that I really didn't even have Mighty Blow for this game. Because I think I had like 7 or 8 armor rolls against him that were 7s. And that doesn't do it against Ironheart Skin. And then I had several KOs against him or like several armor breaks that I rolled a 7, and I get to carry over the Mighty Blow, but guess what? It's got Thick Skull, right? So, I mean, that right there just means that despite being an armor 8 team, he doesn't actually take the damage that an armor 8 team would take, right? Mm-hmm. So I am like, my thralls get gassed in the first half. Despite having pro on 2 of the vampires, I was rocking, and the thing was, the vampires were completely tied up the whole time. Like, most of the time, it was like a vampire was like standing and had an orc to punch. And so I only needed 2+ bloodlust, right? It wasn't like I was moving around. I really didn't get to like hypno gaze that much in the first half. There was like always an orc in the grill of one of my vampires, and I like spent most of the game blitzing with vampires, and so, but I rolled so many bloodlusts that by the end of the drive, I'm down to like a thrall who's like off somewhere because of frenzy, he's been getting pushed around, and like every time I did roll bloodlust, I ended up like KOing or casualtying a thrall, and so I was down a Graveguard going into this game, and I intentionally set up with not all of the zombies on offense. I actually start with more thralls on offense, A, because they're better at moving the ball, and B, ostensibly on an offensive drive, I'm dictating the flow of the drive, right? Nate failed one block during this game. He rolled Skull Boat down with a player who didn't have it exactly once, and that was with the Trog, and that was on turn 3, and he passed the loner to re-roll it. And that, I think, was the game, because that meant, because the previous turn I had thrown all those hits and had knocked nobody over, and so on his turn he just like knocks my whole team over. But the first block was with the Trog, and it was almost a turnover immediately, but he passes the loner check, and it cascades from there. And so he actually spent a whole bunch of time not picking up the ball, and I was like, I hope you get punished by not even attempting to pick up the ball by failing it, and he just never did, despite not having sure hands. It was like turn 7 before he even tried to pick up the ball, despite the fact that I had no tackle zones near him, and he was like running out of clock at the time to actually go score. And it was one of those where I was like, I hope you get punished for this. But no, it's Blood Bowl. People don't get punished when they're supposed to. People get punished specifically when they're not supposed to be punished. So anyway, so he's up a touchdown. I have to kick to him. And this is actually one of those games where if I put some more thought into it, I probably should have just kicked to him to begin with, because actually this was the corn problem. You're not particularly good at moving the ball, and all of your pieces want to hit. So a lot of times you end up just out of position on your offensive drive, and it gets really hard to defend the ball. Right. If I had thought about it just like maybe a little bit more going into the game, I probably could have come into that conclusion. So when he was on offense, I actually stopped his drive cold, and recovered the ball. But when I knocked his ball carrier down, it ended up careening around. It bounced to a zombie who failed to pick it up. It bounced off like a corpse, and it bounced to like my Graveguard, who was the guy who actually threw the blitz to knock the orc over. And the Graveguard spikes the 5 or the 6 to catch it. But the problem is the Graveguard stat line is not the white stat line. So it's slower and it doesn't have agility. And so he ended up getting based by 2 orcs. And I went to blitz him free and rolled like a skull and a push. And so I couldn't quite get the Graveguard away. So he's bogged down in combat, and Nate pops the ball loose on the next turn. And so the ball's just on the ground. And this is where I run a thrall into his backfield. And that thrall could have actually run over there and gone after the ball. But I was trying to play for the draw. So I run a thrall into his backfield on the off chance that I can recover the ball on my turn 16 to throw it to the thrall to go run and score. I needed to get somebody in the range. And so Nate just passes all of his rolls, picks up the ball, and scores on turn 16 to make it 2-0. But the thing that my rationale there, I think, is sound, right? I lose by 1 or I lose by 2. It doesn't matter. Like the way to get a better result in this game is to move the thrall, to get him into a scoring range. Since also I had the last turn, it was another, like, I got another 3 rounds of blitz, blocks on his orcs. So there's like also potential, like if he scores, there's a potential for me to get some casualties on line hits, because I'll end up with more hits than I normally would have. He has to give me those hits on the next turn, right?
Right.
So I think my logic there is sound. So I took my revenge out on Nate by making him regret choosing gnomes for we warriors. And then we played a playtest game where I was borrowing his goblins against the gnomes, and he conceded on turn 5. So I just wish that mattered. I just wish that was a game that mattered in a league instead of for the just for practicing for the sicko rule set coming up. So.
Yeah. All right, next we have the Atlantean Ass Kickers and Serial Killers. 2-0 win for the Sea Elf team.
Yeah.
And Dawson's back on it.
And this, honestly, that Sea Elf team is stacking up some casualties.
Yeah.
It's right behind my team in the casualty race. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the advantage of having 10 armor elves, right? Your team just sits in there, dukes it out the whole time.
Yep. Yeah. This is I think one of the first games you didn't have to worry about claws too much. So,
yeah.
That's a plus. And then, of course, we had the expert show of sportsmanship in the Discord after the game. Could be people be meaner to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. You got out of a Blood Bowl game and you weren't doing the Halo teabag on your opponent?
Yeah.
What? Who are you?
Next we had the Peel Nuts and the Squig Goat Chomp. Jurgen seems to putting 3 touchdowns on people. The Squigs took 9 injuries in this game, so
it's a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's a good amount of damage, and I don't think there's any squeak seal you can slap on the side to make them recover from that. So yeah, Jurgen just gets another kind of commanding win. I think he's still unlocking his when he starts fouling.
Yes,
it's bad.
Yeah,
when.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what's the line from Pirates about honest and dishonest people? Dishonest people you can always trust to be dishonest. The problem with an honest person is you never know when they're going to choose to be dishonest.
Yeah,
that's the thing with Jurgen.
Yeah, when he's fouling, he's going to make you pay for it.
Yeah,
and then finally we got this matchup: Fear of the Deer and Pestilent Party Makers. This is a Dwarf Engineers versus the Demons of Nurgle team. It was a 2-1 win for the Dwarf team, and I saw a little bit of this, and yeah, I think it's just the Nurgle team is interesting. I don't know if you've looked at it, but
all right. So you have fast bloaters on this team with monstrous mouth. I noticed that I'd failed a regeneration roll on the guy who died.
Yes.
James died. But you do come with the Great Unclean One, who's slow but 6 strength. Also has monstrous mouth. What is going on with this team? But you do have a lot of disturbing presence. And then you have a bunch of snotlings. What a weird team. This is it's not quite ogre. Well, you don't have... you got Bonehead and the Great Unclean One, but everybody else doesn't have, negative traits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Weird team, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess you kind of want to hand the ball off if you can help it. Oh, this whole team's agility 4?
Yeah,
so
the Nurglings
trying
are
to do
agility 4.
anything with the ball actually sucks?
Yeah, that is the life of a Nurgle player. So
yeah,
he's not even at that point, I guess.
You don't even have pestigores to move it. Yeah, I don't know. What are you doing with this team, Mind?
Not scoring. Well, he did score once.
He got a touchdown. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the story of this game is the Dwarf Engineer team is getting to a point where it's solid and going to be a force through the rest of the season. So.
Yeah, that's a weird team. So go figure. I guess you get mutations on it, right? Hopefully. Who knows?
I'm actually not sure if they get mutations.
But anyway, that's a weird team.
Yeah.
My mind's kind of blown by it.
Yeah. Well, have your mind blown by all the death that happened this week. So in Memoriam section, we got Richard Trapp, the Thrall for the Bloodied Masquerade. We had Cricket as a Plague Monk for the Rat Bashers. He was the one that had taken an injury already. It didn't matter because he just rolled a 16.
16,
So then we had Sakuka's Bones,
Yeah, I killed that guy.
the blitzer for Dragonhof Grave Robbers. We got Jack Cruncher, lineman for the Touchdown Town Clowns, who,
Yeah.
yeah.
The reports of his death may be greatly exaggerated.
Yeah, we'll give it, I think you got like 2 more days.
Yeah.
Historically speaking, in the religious text. We got a journeyman for the Lower Anderson Conspiracy. We had Suffolk Snitch Royal, was a pirate cultist for the Jolly Ragers. And then we had Cruce Rawl Silent Morn, Plague Bearer for Pestilent Party Makers. Who needs regen? Apparently.
Yeah. The fake skill.
Yep. All right, well, that's going to do it for our recaps this week. Take a quick break and come back with some more Bubble Talk. Okay, so we're going to take a chance to talk about some of the other games we got, kind of do some quick previews of what we have since we're down to like a reasonable number of games this week. Talk through some of them. We have one week 3 game remaining that's outstanding. It's actually going to be happening later tonight. That is Gamer Clan and the Bloodied Masquerade. I have an interest in this game for reasons that will be evident very soon. But the Nippon team against these vampires, I think it's probably going to be favoring Chris, just based on the like these teams and makeup.
Yeah, and the vampires don't like playing against people who have skills.
Mm-hmm. Chris's team is a little beat up. Like he's missing some samurai, but
yeah, he's coming into the game down a player. So yeah, missing your blitzers is not great. But this vampire team is 2 games in and has 1 vampire that has a skill. And this vampire team is also missing a player. And we'll have to take journeyman. So I think I got to give it to Chris here. I think Joel's still learning how to play vampires, and it is a team that you get better with skill. And I think Joel's mission was to play the vampires in this league to learn how to play them for the regular league.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I when I first started with vampires, I didn't know what I was doing with the team either. And I do think just a little bit of skills go a long way on the team. Mm-hmm. Just every skill on a vampire makes the team that much more powerful. It's not. There are a lot of teams where you add skills and there's actually diminishing returns on the skills that you add to players. That is not true on vampires. The first 4 skills you give a vampire just make the player that much better.
Right.
So.
Yep. All right. So that was our 1 week 3 game outstanding. Week 4 games, we got Electric City Maulers and Dragonhof Grave Robbers.
Yeah, I hope you learned some from my game. I hope you learned about setting up mismatches on the field, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want your mummies fighting like the turtle men all game.
Yeah.
Right? If you can, you want to get your mummies. You need your mummies in such a way where it makes the Oni regret committing to the fray. Mm-hmm. And you need to use your zombies and your skeletons wisely in that game. Make sure that they're like the front line that's getting hit. It's tempting to just always have the mummies in the fracas, but you really want them in a way where they can respond to what's going on the field. And I know they're slow, but you just don't want like the Onis getting alpha strikes against the mummies, right? That's just like a way for you to lose a mummy forever.
Right. Yeah. And I think the Undead is like a resilient team. Yeah. If the resilience holds out,
outside of the Oni, I don't think that Nippon team is particularly deadly. Yeah. Right? You got some guys with some block, but you got to be committed to fouling with the sumos. Mm-hmm. You use the sumos to set up fouls. Yep. The turtlemen they're annoying. They'll get in the way, but they're slow, right? You actually as the undead player, you actually have slightly more mobility. And so if you can bog down the slow part of the Nippon team, and then set up scenarios where it's like your ghouls and your whites versus just like the samurais or whatever, I think you're set up for a win there. So
yeah. Up next, we got my game, the Rat Bashers and Gamer Clan. So as it sits right now, I'm giving Chris money, but barring any major injuries, he's going to have 2 samurai back.
Yeah.
Which means I will probably be getting money in some quantity in that game. I would have liked to have the priest, just to have like an extra piece of like block frenzy stand firm. I think would be something that'd be good here. But like I'm not 100% sure. I think the big thing is, I know like playing Chris in the past, he really likes to kind of stretch the field, and the Pestilence team is very good at preventing that.
Yeah.
Like you can't really, like, if I spread the field, and this is like the thing I've found with the team setting up defensively, is like there's basically like, if you want to score, you have to have the ball within scoring range of the thing. You can't sit in the back, like you couldn't do like, you know, like the DACA type offense, because you just will not get a good pass off. Either you're going to be like -3 to catch, like -2 to throw, disturbing presence everywhere on the field. It's just a cloud that prevents passing and handoffs. So you've got to get the ball on somebody that can score, and I think that's where the team's able to really just kind of capitalize.
The Wood Elf vampire strategy of like leave a thrower on your goal line to see if you can get the opponent to overcommit, and then like step up into the pocket, throw at midfield, have that guy run up, hand off to somebody else, run to the other side, where you just like use the whole field. That doesn't fly against Pestilence.
Yeah, so that's going to be the kind of strategy I'm going to employ there, and hopefully got Mighty Blow on one of the sensor bearers now, and hoping he starts racking up some casualties.
Yeah.
So next we got the Horrors and Touchdown Town Clowns.
Yeah, I mean, I think Justin can probably get some casualties in this game, right? Like, this is an example of a game where humans can serve as the beatdown role, right? Because you've got players on the field that you can push around. You focus on... I think a lot of times new players focus on, like, the piece that's beating them, and they want to go blitz that. Like, I got to get rid of this thing. It's beating me. When they don't focus on, like, the stuff that's easiest to kill, right? And I think if you kill a bunch of the blue horrors, then it gets much, much easier to go after... the Lord of Change. He won't have any support with them.
Yeah.
So.
On to the Blaviken Bloodhounds and the Bodacious Period. We got Corn and Skinks. Lots of frenzy into some 2-strength stunties.
Yeah. Traditionally, when I was playing Corn into the stunty teams, I would rack up substantial body counts, and that's because frenzy gives you so many hits into the stunty players. So now I think I said that last week. I think I said that verbatim about the Abe game into the blue horrors, and that is not what happened. The Corn playing for the ball is like a secondary concern sometimes for Corn. I mean, I think you can... The skinks can swarm the ball wherever it is. And those red-crested skinks they're kind of like a problem to play against. Because your traditional Corn, you have to like kind of make screens and cages. Like, Corn doesn't cage particularly well, because frenzy means you end up like just running off in random directions on the board sometimes, based off of like where the block dice take you. And so that's the type of thing where skinks can end up swarming your ball carrier and running away with the game. So
up next we've got Whale Warriors and Lupus Lapin. So I'll have to see what werewolf count is. I just think it's impossible to predict a game like these werewolf games, because it's like, if you roll 2 werewolves, probably going to be in trouble against a Norse team that's got like a lot of block, and you don't have nearly as much. if you get like 6 werewolves, okay, maybe you're in a spot. Like, as long as it falls on the right players,
Yeah,
like that's like another aspect of it too.
right. I think I kind of like Norse in this matchup. Like if I was playing against a random number of werewolves, I would really like to have Norse into that.
Yeah.
Because you have such like a diverse list of what you could induce on Old World.
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 werewolves, and we're in like the Ivar territory. 5 werewolves, we're in like the Griff territory. And I actually don't think these werewolves want to play against Griff.
Right.
I mean, 4 strength, fend, block, dodge. Like, that sounds like a nightmare for a werewolf. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of like the Norse side of this matchup for sure. Now, you're not playing werewolves because you're going into every game with a well-defined strategy. You're going into this game because you want, like, a roguelike, I want the game to be different every time I play it strategy. So... so yeah, I mean, I think it would be a fun matchup to be a part of on either side.
Mm-hmm. Up next, we've got Bofa and Pendleton Penumbra. So we got Clan Eshin against this like Elfie team.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Fred's got some. He's got some stab.
Yeah.
So
I mean, most of these elves are like, you know, they got 9 armor.
Yeah.
Right. And stab starts trailing off once you hit 9 armor.
Yeah. I think that'll just be kind of an interesting one to see. Like this elfish team is.
It's low on value, and that's the funny thing is that the elf team is actually getting money for that game. It's not enough to do anything with. But I've talked to Tony a bit because he's been like when he's been playing in the store. He plays like a whole host of games. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was talking to him a little bit about it, and he was talking about how like his trickster got killed in the previous game, and he was like, "Yeah, I actually think that model is bad on the team. Like, I actually think that model was like a detriment. So now I get to play kind of like a low to the ground elf team, mm-hmm. And you know, try like a different type of strategy with it. So I'm interested to see where he goes with it from here. I do think that Penumbra team or the what are they called, the Nagaroth team, with Wrestle starting is wild on mm-hmm. an elf.
Yeah,
that's a solid chassis.
Yeah, it's a kind of yeah. I mean, it's like a thing like looking at like last season, like Wayne's team, he was putting Wrestle on a lot of his elves. Anyway,
like he was choosing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like Wrestle on an elf team is like great because you're generally going to be faster than whenever you're wrestling down. You can like stand up and get away. Be an interesting game because you're not going to be able to get away from these rats, but it could just lead to shenanigans.
Yeah, right. The question is who does more damage to Fred's team?
Yeah.
Fred's opponent or Fred?
Yeah. And our last game is the Bloody Masquerade and All on Red. So we're not going to fully know what Joel's team's going to look like because he's still got a game out. But the Clan Mulder team is back to 4 Rat Ogres. So you got 2 regular, 2 armored, and one of the regular Rat Ogres can take a skill. So it has that, like it could take block before this game, and I think that team gets pretty. The team is scary. I think like playing against the 3 Rat Ogres, I was having to be very, very intentional with my positioning because stuff would like end up next to a spot, end up next to like 2 Rat Ogres, and there's like going and fighting. But having access to the 2, and I think also the armored Rat Ogres having Unchanneled Fury over Animal Savagery is like a big change that makes those pieces really scary.
Makes their Prehensile Tail substantially better.
Yeah. So I think that'll be an interesting game too, just to kind of see. That's one where Joel could maybe like make up for some lost SVP through the course. Like he's got a lot of 1 and 2 strength pieces to beat up on.
Yeah, so one of the most important things to remember against vampires is to use the Hypno Gaze to strip off the defensive. skills. So you've got a whole lot of like one strength, sidestep, dodge, stunty pieces. You take one vampire, you walk up, you hypnogaze, make it lose its tackle zone. The next vampire comes up and crushes it, right? At 3 dice, and even if you don't have block, 3 dice into that, once you get rid of dodge, way more favorable odds.
Yeah.
I think you're in like the 70% range, something like that, as opposed to 50-50 when you're normally 3 dicing. And the most important thing, you get rid of sidestep, which is really the thing that beats you on the stupid snotling chassis.
Yeah.
The sidestep is what makes you regret throwing the hits in the first place.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for our episode this week. Obviously, next week we'll have some more to talk about.
Next week we'll probably do a We Warriors preview. This week we had quite a few games to recap, so no deep dive this time around. Yeah. But we'll come back with a vengeance.
Yes. Hopefully just a vengeance for no reason, no losses or anything. But, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if you enjoyed listening to this, appreciate you if you would follow, like, subscribe wherever you're listening. Check us out on, go pull up 18 different platforms or whatever. I don't know if we can actually
do the click farming thing.
Yeah,
where there's like 40 phones in a building that you're just
get
plays on.
Yeah, get Lex Luthor's like monkey typing rig to listen to podcasts. And then it'll be good.
Yeah, it's a worthwhile use of your time.
Absolutely, for us at least. But, we will see y'all next week with some more Blood Bowl action.
Goodbye.